Welcome back. You're watching the Money Show. I'm Kavita Thapliyal, and there are plethora of funds available in the market to invest your hard-earned money in. But how do you assess which is the right fund for your portfolio? What are the criteria that one should look at to help you navigate through this maze? We have Amol Joshi, founder of Plan Rupee Investment Services. Also, do not forget to send us your portfolio queries on our WhatsApp number, which is 865-797-4571. You can also email us your queries on the moneyshow@etnow.tv. So that's the number and email ID. And good evening. Welcome to the show, Amol. And we are also joined by our first viewer who would like to ask his question, Vijay Kumar from Tamil Nadu. Hi, Vijay. Good evening. Thank you so much for sending us your question. How are you doing today?
Good evening, madam. Actually, I have invested in MF SIP.
Okay.
Actually, I want to know that whether this is the correct time to redeem or stay on. Because the situation,
Okay.
as we are seeing the worldwide situation,
Sure. Sure.
the market is also slightly dipping. So is it a good time
Okay.
to redeem and invest it later on?
All right. Vijay, whenever we make a financial portfolio, it's for the intention of accomplishing our financial goals. Right? Long term in the sense you have your financial goals tied up with those investments, okay? And because you are a long term investor, these kind of volatility and the news that you are also witnessing right now, seeing around, internationally, what?
I'm in from last 5 to 7 years, madam.
Already, that's very great. So I don't have the details of your investment with me. You are investing in mutual fund via SP, via SIP. Do you have the name of your mutual funds with you?
Sundaram, Axis, HDFC.
Okay, so I will just write that down. All right, you can just go slow on that because we will write that down and our expert will note down those funds and then we might just tell you, analyze your portfolio and see the fund mix and accordingly advise. Can you give me the name one by one, please?
Sundaram Mutual.
What fund of Sundaram AMC?
Sundaram AMC is flexi cap, small cap.
So you have a Sundaram Flexi Cap. One second, you have Sundaram Flexi Cap, you said?
Yes, small cap fund.
Small cap of which fund house?
Mid cap. Small cap, mid cap.
No, of what fund house?
These all funds are small cap, mid cap funds, madam.
From Sundaram only? From Sundaram Fund House?
Axis, Sundaram Fund House, small cap, mid cap. And Axis also having a mid cap fund. As well as HDFC is also mid cap fund.
Okay, that's all?
And Franklin Templeton.
What fund?
But I don't just not remembering that. But
Okay, what's the overall SIP amount?
Birla SIP amount, I'm just investing 1,000 each. 2,000.
So which makes it to how many thousands?
Ma'am?
1,000 in each fund with 1,000 per month in each fund. So how much? 5,000, 6,000, 7,000? Because I don't have the fund number with me. Is it 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 per month? How much is the amount of your SIP?
No, 1,000 per month, 2,000 per month.
Okay, let's go to Amol.
Yeah.
Let's go to Amol. Amol, okay, first let's help Vijay as to what should be the purpose of having your financial portfolio, because Vijay is not the only viewer or an investor who might have these kind of questions arising looking at the market volatility and the geopolitical tension that's going around in the market. Although our markets today, seem to have shrugged that off, but a normal investor who's not very used to tracking the market, who's not very knowledgeable or maybe is not reading up enough, would be perturbed by this kind of volatility. How would you explain this particular scenario to Vijay and any investor like him?
Good evening, Kavita, and thanks for having me over on the show. We are beginning with very interesting question, and the details that were shared earlier by Mr. Vijay. One of the things was, and he mentioned it here on the call as well, should I book profit? Market is at all-time high and there is certain news flow. Now, there are two, three things over here. I would like to ask as well as tell Mr. Vijay Kumar and all the viewers that market, be it Sensex or Nifty, it does not have any upside cap. Today, Sensex is in the vicinity of something like 66,000. Do we all remember, since Vijay is investing for last 5 to 7 years, I'm sure he remembers the time when Sensex first time touched the magic figure, round figure of 50,000. At that point in time, did all of us did we not feel that this is a round figure number and Sensex has reached all-time high, lifetime high of 50,000? But what happened after that? Just in a few years period of time, we are about 30 to 35% up from that number. So, Mr. Vijay, my first piece of advice to you is, as Kavita rightly mentioned, you must be investing in SIPs to meet certain financial goals in your life. If your financial goal has few more years to go, something like 3 years or more, then this is not probably the right time for you to do an attempt of profit booking. I would repeat, there is no upside cap to Sensex. The same Sensex, in few years, I would not be surprised if you see it at 70,000, 75,000, and even more. Point number one. Point number two, something that is working already in your favor, Mr. Vijay, is you are investing via SIPs. SIPs, since you are a 7-year-old investor in SIPs, you know very well that you are investing small amounts every month and you are buying market or that particular fund across all levels of market, or more specifically across all levels of NAVs. Even if market were to do some kind of correction, if market were to undergo, your future SIPs will be able to buy units at cheaper value. This is how SIP actually averages your entire investment amount, and you are likely to make above average kind of returns going forward. That's point number two. And point number three, very, very important. Instead of, if you feel that market is at higher level, first identify your risk appetite. If you cannot take that much of risk, then you probably can cut down certain portion. You should never do 100 or 0 kind of a thing. So currently, if you have your entire portfolio in equity, you should not come out of entire portfolio. You should probably try to look at 20-25% profit booking. When I say profit booking, since market is at higher level, over 7 years, I'm sure your funds have made 12 to 18% kind of returns, the kind of market that we are at. Last but not the least, if you cannot take this decision based on your own self, then you can choose something called as balanced advantage fund. These funds dynamically move the assets between equity and debt, thereby doing the profit booking at higher level and vice versa.
All right, let's move on. I have Mayank Mishra on the phone line with me from Odisha. Mayank, hi, good evening. How are you doing today?
Hello.
Mayank, hi, I can hear you. Thank you so much for sending us your question. You want to make 3 crores corpus in 20 years and you want to step up your investments that you're doing in mutual funds. I will just read out the name of your funds. You can cross-check, and if at all there's anything more that you want to add to your question, you can do that, Mayank. So I believe you have your investments going on in Nippon India Power, Aditya Birla Sun Life Flexi Cap, Kotak Equity Opportunity, ICICI Pru Large and Mid Cap, Nippon Multi Cap, Mira Asset Large Cap, Kotak Flexi Cap, SBI Blue Chip, and you also have your investments for retirement and NPS that you're doing monthly. Are these funds right?
Yeah, I'm doing 6,700 per month and 50,000 yearly also. And my total mutual fund is 20,000 per month SIPs are going.
Got it. Got it. One question: why did you take Nippon India Power Fund in your portfolio?
It is just started. I have just started right now. Last two months it's only. I have invested 2 months.
Okay. Are you tracking this sector?
I was thinking that our I think EV as EV market is going up, so it can help us in the portfolio.
Okay. Do you regularly track markets? Do you regularly track markets, Mayank? Do you read up about it? Do you read about the sector that you're invested in?
Yes.
You do that. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now in order to have your corpus, which is 3 crores in 20 years, let's just check the fund mix and your investment amount that you are already doing. Amol.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one question.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because most of the schemes that I have chosen right now is related to kind of multi-caps and large cap only. So, is it a right time now to start investing in mid caps and small caps? As there has been a market already has given a great run up in mid. So,
Sure.
should I invest in mid caps right now? Can I start right now, or should I wait for some?
Okay. We will have Amol answer this question. You already have a multi-cap, you already have a large and mid-cap, you also have a flexi-cap, and you have two flexi-cap in fact. So you have a mid-cap exposure already in your portfolio in the fund mix that you've just sent. But apart from that, do you separately need a mid-cap fund? Amol, I'm sure, will be covering that in his answer. Amol, over to you.
Sure. So first, the most important question, Mayank wants to reach a 3 crore rupees target in next 20 years. Considering 20,000 rupees SIPs in mutual fund and 10,000 rupees about average, including 6,700 per month and a lump sum once in a year. 10,000 rupees SIP, 10,000 rupees per month investment in NPS. This 30,000 rupees, if grow at 11% CAGR over next 20 years, Mayank, you will be able to create a corpus of 2.4 crore rupees. So you are reaching almost close to 70-80% kind of corpus requirement. Now, if you want to anyhow reach this 3 crore rupees of corpus, you have one big advantage with you, and that is your extremely long-term investment horizon of 20 years. If you just increase your existing SIP of 20 plus 10, 30,000 rupees by 8,000 per annum. So roughly, first year, 30,000 rupees SIP. Next year, your 30,000 rupees SIP should increase by 8%, that is 2,400. So something like 2 to 3,000 rupees SIP, your SIP should go up in the next year. If you just do that from 2.4 crore rupees corpus without step up, with step up, you will be able to reach 4.3 crore rupees, which is roughly 40 to 50% higher than your requirement. That's the answer to your first question, how to reach the 3 crore rupee corpus. Kavita, as you rightly identified, 5,000 rupee SIP out of 20 is in a sectoral or a thematic fund. My advice is, if you are tracking, that's good. If you work in that sector, if you are, if you are very close to that sector, only probably you can retain this fund. Otherwise, my advice is this is significantly higher component, about 25% of your SIPs. My advice would be to exit from sectoral and thematic fund. Coming to the next question of whether it is a good time to start into mid caps. I would say, Mayank, on this very program, we have discussed multiple times. There was a blockbuster sector called pharma or healthcare in 2020-21 because of the pandemic. That sector went up by about 80 to 100%. But that very same sector had a 4 to 5 years bear market from 2015 to 20. The point that I'm trying to make is 20 years is a significantly longer time horizon. Mid caps and small caps appear relatively expensive compared to their 10-year average valuation. Despite of that, there is no harm in having some kind of mid-cap exposure, because over 20 years, you will get multiple phases of mid-cap valuations going above as well as below their long-term average. Coming to schemes, I would say, if you are interested in mid-cap, out of your scheme that you have mentioned, ICICI Prudential Large and Mid-Cap Fund is something that you can continue and focus on. Nippon Multi-Cap also, as well as Kotak Equity Opportunities. I'm sure you are already aware that in multi-cap schemes, there is a mandatory 25% each to be invested in large cap, mid cap, as well as small cap. So one way or another, this increases, or rather this invests, this some kind of amount gets invested in the proportion that I mentioned just now in mid cap sector as well. And since you have an extremely long horizon of 20 years, I would say annual performance review of the scheme compared to the benchmark and peer group is necessary to remain on track and to achieve your goal.
All right, that was very well answered. Mayank, is there anything else you want to ask Amol? Or I can quickly move on to my next viewer query. Mayank?
No, I just wanted to ask one related with NPS. Any scheme, preferable scheme, or all of the schemes are, because I've tried two schemes that quite nice.
So, can I request you, Mayank, I have other callers also waiting, the viewers waiting on the phone line. Can I request you to just send us a NPS detailed query, and then we'll get it answered by our expert on the show live. Thank you so much for sending us your question. Amol, Gagan Grover's question for you, and he has 5 lakhs which he wants to invest in mutual funds via SIP, and he also wants to follow the process of STP actually, and he wants to park in this money for 10 years, and he has done his risk profiling, and he says that he's a high risk taker. How will you guide him?
Correct. So I think Gagan has a lot of things going on for him. He has done his research. His risk profile is higher, as well as Gagan has very rightly mentioned that he wants to invest via STP. For those who do not know, STP simply means systematic transfer plan. It is you when you have a lump sum, but you do not want to go all in to the equity because of any concern that you might have. You invest that money in the liquid fund or overnight fund of the same fund house, and then you systematically switch. So coming to the scheme mix that Gagan has requested for, HDFC large and mid cap fund, about 65 to 70% you can invest into HDFC liquid fund and do the STP from HDFC liquid to HDFC large and mid cap, and remaining 30 to 35% can go to ICICI Prudential liquid fund. STP going into equity, that is ICICI Prudential small cap fund. Now, suggestion, you haven't mentioned, Gagan, the STP period that you have in mind. My advice would be having a 6 to 8 month of STP, not beyond that. I have seen people doing a 3-year STP, but out of 10 years of investment horizon, 30% of the time, if you just take to get invested into the fund house, your equity is not going to get that much of time to compound. So I would say 6 to 8 months kind of STP you can choose. And just to give you an idea of number, your existing amount of 5 lakh rupees over next 9 to 10 years at 12% CAGR can grow to about 15.5 lakh rupees in the given period of 9 to 10 years. Gagan.
All right, let's move on quickly to our next question, Amol, which is from Nitin, and he's been investing on behalf of his wife. The funds are Kotak Emerging Fund, Axis Long-Term Equity, and he wants to increase the SIP in it. And he wants to know how is Invesco Small Cap and ICICI Proof Focused Fund. Investment horizon is almost 7 to 8 years, and the corpus target is 15 lakhs.
All right. To answer first question, Nitin, for 6,000 rupees SIP amount, I am not sure if you need 4 schemes in total. I would suggest even 2 or 3 schemes would do good if you invest into them and track the performance regularly and get to know more, kind of more research about them. Coming to schemes, you can continue with your Kotak Emerging. Regarding Axis Long-Term Equity, if you are also choosing ELSS or a long equity or a tax saving fund for your ATC requirements, I would suggest you look at Bandhan Tax Advantage Fund. Coming to the amount, a target that you have of 15 lakh rupees via 6,000 rupees SIP, you have also given us details that you have been investing for last few years. You might have about 1.5 lakh rupees of corpus. With this 6,000 rupee SIP, over next 8 years, at 12% CAGR, you are probably going to accumulate a 13 lakh rupees of amount. To bridge the gap of 2 lakh rupees, you can do 8 to 10% of SIP top-up amount. In this very program, we have answered what SIP top-up is. It simply means by increasing your SIP amount once in a year by about 8 to 10%, or to the best of your cash flow that allows you. Doing that, I think you are on course to achieve your 15 lakh rupees target in next 7 to 8 years.
All right, last query of the show, Amol from Avinash, and he says that his investment horizon is for 3 to 5 years. Goal is to invest for short term as well as long term. He actually wants your help to figure out how can he invest 1.5 lakh. And the goal is to have 1 crore via long-term investment, and he wants to know if he can achieve this via mutual funds.
Yes, that's a very good question, Avinash. Via mutual funds, if you have, if you properly do the financial planning, risk appetite assessment, and asset allocation, I have no doubt in my mind that mutual funds too can help you achieve your financial goals. That's very clear. Second point, short-term as well as long-term goals separately. I would suggest, it doesn't matter if you have a 1 lump sum amount, but within that lump sum or within the SIP monthly investment, you need to decide how much amount do you want to allocate towards short-term goal and what kind of amount do you want to allocate towards long-term goal. For short-term goals, we essentially suggest below 3 years, we essentially suggest a fixed income or debt kind of investment only within mutual fund asset class. If you have a 3 to 5 year kind of horizon, you can certainly look at equity hybrid funds or more particularly balanced advantage funds. And for long term, 7 to 10 years or more, you can choose to go with equity funds. Coming to your last question of is my goal achievable over long term of 1 crore rupees? I would have liked if you had given for your long-term goal, I would have liked if you had given us some horizon. But since we do not have those details, let me assume an investment horizon of 20 years to accumulate 1 crore rupees. You will have to start with about 20 to 20,000 rupees of SIP per month. And if this SIP, if grows the return 12% CAGR over next 20 years, you'll be able to achieve this 1 crore rupees corpus. Last but not the least, Avinash, you have also given us details that I do not know how to start. Simple one-line answer. If you do not know how to start with balanced advantage funds. These funds automatically rebalance the assets between equity and debt. If you want to know the scheme, you can probably start investments in ICICI Prudential Balanced Advantage Fund. Best wishes.
All right. With that, thank you so much, Amol, for being on the show today, helping our viewers
Pleasure.
with their financial portfolio queries. And time to sign off, but I'm going to leave you with our WhatsApp number and email ID where you can send us your portfolio queries and we will answer them live by our experts. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.